I actually don't know what's more amazing, that this plane had been put in a barn for 40 years, or that 1980s was 40 years ago.
I know.
One, two, three, four.
Good morning and welcome to our GiveSendGo Spotlight. Another beautiful day to be sharing how people all around the world are shining and stepping into the situations they see and becoming the solution. Today, I'm really excited to introduce James Webb. He started a campaign on GiveSendGo called Wings of Compassion. And thank you, James, for being here today.
Thank you, Heather. Such a pleasure to meet you. Thanks for giving me a call and chatting about this. And a little quick tidbit, this is not my first GiveSendGo campaign.
Really? What else have you raised money for on GiveSendGo?
Now, as crazy as it sounds, I find old abandoned airplanes and fix them up and get them flying again and do adventures like that. And then we take these airplanes and we try to serve the veteran community by helping them get their pilot's license to transition from the military to civilian world. So, because there's a massive shortage of pilots, so we try to help with that just really, really big expense. And at the same time, do some pretty cool stuff with typically older, more forgotten airplanes. The first campaign I did was we found it's called a Cessna 310, and it was in a barn for 40 years. Since
Wow.
1981. The guy flew it and then parked it in there, shut the barn doors, and the next time it was opened was when we found it last year.
I actually don't know what's more amazing, that this plane had been put in a barn for 40 years, or that 1980s was 40 years ago.
I know. I know. My wife and I were watching a movie or something yesterday, and it was like 1995, and we're like, well, that wasn't that long ago. And then we added up, we're like, oh my goodness, when did we get old?
I know. It's funny when you're like 40 years. I'm like, wow, that's so long. And then you're like 1980. And I was like, oh. But anyway, so you found this plane that had been sitting in a barn and you started a campaign to fix it up, I'm guessing, or what?
Yeah, we started on the competitor site.
Okay.
And then we raised some funds that way. And then they really, I mean, honestly, made some really bad choices of things that I 100% do not support or believe in. So I said, no way, no how, the heck with you guys. There's a better option over here that fits more of my own personal, paradigms and my audience. We typically are a little bit more conservative, and we have more traditional values, things like that. The other one, and I mean, it's kicking people off, taking their money, and all. I mean, just the most, like, how does a company get away with that? I have no idea.
And they're
So
not
it
going
was
to.
a
Yeah, they're
yeah,
not going to. Eventually, we're just going to be taking over, because we allow people, even with that we disagree with on GiveSendGo, because we believe that's, you're talking veterans. That's what they're fighting for, our freedom. We are not going to trample on those freedoms that people have given their lives for. It's ridiculous. But I can tell you, it's a good business model for us when the competitors kicking people off left and right. People are finding us and realizing we're just a better platform in general.
100%. Yep. And the back end that you guys use as well, is, I believe in them a lot more as well. In light of the other stuff with a previous Elon Musk company, yes. I'm like, we literally are working in parallel universes right now. So that's just where this is going. So, but no, and then I found out about you guys, and I really love the pray option.
Yes.
So it gives people a chance to support, even if they might not be able to support monetarily. They're able to support in prayer and lifting them up that way, which frankly I think is more powerful than finances anyway.
Yeah, it's one of our favorite things. We really, when we develop this platform, as much as we're not just for a certain religious belief, just for Christians or things like that, we are for everybody. We personally believe that there is a hope greater, like what you just said, than greater than any money could ever provide. And so we wanted to create a platform that shared the hope we know is found in Jesus with people who are raising money for some hopeless situations or some hard situations. And so we said, let's reach into people's situations, even if they don't, if they disagree, that's fine. They don't have to, but I can tell you, we have a whole prayer team that calls campaigns to pray with them. We'll call people who have no faith background and they'll still say, I can't believe that you care enough to call. I don't even believe in God, but it touches me that you called. And that really is our mission. Have you gotten a prayer call yet?
Heck yeah. No, I have not received the prayer
Okay.
call yet, but that is fantastic that you guys do that as a company. And I mean, if you look at they're raising money, and I don't know the stats, you'd be able to stats, but I can only assume that because of a situation that they can't do on their own. And typically that's for something unexpected, whether it's medical or they're trying to, go someplace to help other people, or even in our situation with Wings of Compassion. Now that is a regular 501c3, and we have all the normal stuff where we do corporate sponsors and all that kind of stuff on the other side. But then Hurricane Ian hit Florida and it was just massive destruction.
Yes.
So I'm like, we got to do something right now. And we did a special fund, and we're doing a special fund on the site. And it's 100% of all the money that goes into that pot is just buying simple things like diapers and wipes and granola bars.
Yes.
And that's what, even here in Florida, the best state in the country. And in Fort Myers, which is actually a pretty wealthier, it's a very nice area, but they just got devastated. And even still now, it's been 3 weeks almost. The grocery stores, as soon as they get food and stock, they're sold out like that, because not only do you have the people that are moving back to their house trying to rebuild, but now you've got all the workers that come in from all over the country. So the population doubled and the infrastructure is still kind of less than half.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that is crazy. So how long have you had Wings of Compassion? When did you start this? I know you said you're using it at this point for the devastation from Hurricane Ian, but I'm assuming that you've had this before. You didn't come up with this because of this one catastrophe.
That's correct. Yeah, Wings of Compassion as an organization has been around since 1982.
Okay.
And it has had other leaders throughout the years. And I took it over about, not even a year ago now. It might only be 6 months ago. And the primary goal of Wings of Compassion is giving back to the veterans and taking care of the veteran community, specifically through aviation, whether that's helping them get training to transition to the civilian world, or getting them to their medical appointments like Walter Reed or something like that, or just doing morale flights, because, flying in a little airplane to some people is very therapeutic, and it gives them that kind of a once in a lifetime opportunity. Not everybody has a chance to do it. And it's something really, really neat to be able to fly above the clouds and see the world in a different perspective. And, that's just one way we like to give back to those that have sworn an oath to protect and defend this Constitution.
So are you a veteran? Are you a pilot?
I am an active Florida Guard member.
Okay, so you're in the military. Wrong question.
In the military, yeah. U.S. Air Force through the Air National Guard here in Florida currently. And I am a pilot, but just not for the military. So
Okay.
I'm on the private side of it. And yeah, the military doesn't trust me with anything really cool. So I have to go buy all that and do all that stuff myself.
My brother Jacob is a veteran. He started GiveSendGo with me. So he served in the Navy on an Air Force carrier. And we both have recently started getting our pilot's license, the steps to getting our pilot's license. We were like, let's make this a priority to be able to get where we need to go if we ever need to get there just having those skills, because you never know, you know, how,
It's
especially when there was so many rules around flying during COVID and things like that. We're like, okay, it's an important way to be able to travel. And if you're hinged on whether you're allowed to or not by somebody else's laws and rules, let's just do that. So we both started, and it's an incredible, for me it's still kind of nerve-wracking, because my lessons, like I'll do a couple right in a row, and then there's like a week or two, and then it's like starting all over again. But there's nothing like being up, and I go up in a little Cessna. I don't even know what one it is, a 2-seater or a 4-seater. And it's just seeing the world in a different view. As a Christian, I go, wow, God is the most, like, who could have thought of this, right? Like, human mind could never come up with how our world works. Especially you look outside now, in different parts of the country where the leaves are changing, and it's a masterpiece. The whole design of it, it's remarkable. And seeing it from an airplane, like you said, I can imagine for a lot of veterans that being therapeutic. Just there's a lot of struggles coming back and seeing the things that they have seen, and fighting for the things they fought for, and being able to have that tranquility. Thank you for stepping into this. So it's been around for a while, and now you saw this Hurricane Ian, and I'm assuming you said you're in Florida.
Yeah, it was supposed to hit my house directly and turned just before it got to us and hit Fort Myers. I'm just north of Fort Myers.
Okay, I can tell you have short sleeves. I have a sweater.
Yes, and I'm really upset I had to wear pants today. It got cold.
So when the money comes in, I see on this campaign, and if anybody wants to go visit, we will have the link down at the bottom. It is GiveSendGo.com/wings of compassion. So very easy to remember, /wings of compassion. I see you've already raised $3,700. And you have a goal of $100,000 to come in and it says, you serve veterans and first responders with aviation, you provide assistance, and 100% of all proceeds go to this mission. And so go check it out. Share it is a way that you can help this campaign. Let people know about this. You can give if you have the financial means to give. And the cool thing about crowdfunding is that it doesn't take one person giving $100,000. It takes 100,000 people giving $1, right? And so really, you're not even asking for everybody to come in and give $5,000, $10,000, $20,000. Now that would be nice. If there's somebody who wants to give to this nonprofit, he's not going to turn it away. But if you go, I want to give to an organization that's helping first responders and veterans, you could set it up. We have recurring donations. You could say, you know what, for the next year, I'm going to give $20 a month. I'm going to give $10 a month, and just so in that way. And every time that money gets taken out of your account, just send a little prayer for these veterans that are being helped, for this organization that's stepping into the mess.
Some things in life you just can't control, like when a loved one passes or a natural disaster strikes. But you can control which crowdfunding platform you'll use when the time comes. GiveSendGo is trusted in over 80 countries worldwide for its simple, reliable crowdfunding platform. As the leader in freedom fundraising, GiveSendGo guarantees people's voices are heard and valued. Whether you're in a hopeless situation, see a friend in need, or pursuing a lifelong dream, GiveSendGo's got your back so you can confidently raise money for who and what you love. Go to www.givesendgo.com to start fundraising today.
So right now, when this $3,700, how is that money being spent? I know you kind of mentioned, have you actually spent any of the money, taken it and gone and purchased stuff yet? Or where are you in the process?
Man, we've bought way more than the $3,700 worth of stuff.
Yeah.
We've already sent three plane loads of stuff that I know of already. And there may have been more, and a truckload of water and some heavier stuff that we sent a truck down. So I mean, I couldn't even begin to tell you how much money has already been spent. It's well over the $3,700 that has been raised so far. And we, right now it's about buying food items. They've kind of are at the stage where they've got the electricity and water, and some of the roads are passable, or at least they've figured out how to get transport in and out. But it's food. So the people there now are like trying to restock their shelves and just trying to get food in the cupboard again. Still, drinking water is important, and baby wipes and formula and diapers. So taking care of the babies and then taking care of the food and water.
Okay. Yeah. So very, very important. I know on GiveSendGo we have quite a few campaigns for Hurricane Ian, but here's one that you can know. You're hearing from the horse's mouth. You're hearing from James, who's putting this on, that 100% they are even sacrificing their own money, their own, getting people even outside of this campaign to give. And so if you can give any amount to help get the food stocked for the babies. Imagine being a mom or dad, a family down there, and being like, I don't have food for my baby. Like, they need a certain formula. They need, baby wipes and diapers. Like, this is really important things. A pack of diapers costs $10, $15. Buy a pack of diapers, but definitely Wings of Compassion, GiveSendGo.com/Wings of Compassion. So after, you're stepping in right now to Hurricane Ian, because it's an immediate need, which I love. This is exactly why we have GiveSendGo, is that when people see a need, they can immediately step in. They don't wait for everybody else to do it. They step in and say, how can I help? But after this, what are the plans? What do you have other things coming up that you are going to continue this campaign for?
Ironically enough, a week before the hurricane hit, we had a gentleman reach out to us that had an RV that he hadn't used in a couple of years and said, I want to donate this RV to you, to Wings of Compassion, so that you can use it for veterans and first responders to use either for family vacations or to stay in while they're doing their flight training, or just for whatever. And we thought, that is fantastic. Well, the hurricane hit, and now there's thousands and thousands of people that are even without a home. We have one family in particular that we've connected with that when the storm surge came in, it wiped their entire community out. They now don't have a home. So we're scrambling, trying to get this motorhome, cleaned up and detailed and over there to them so that they can have someplace to live while they find permanent housing. I mean, it's that really is what it's about for us, is having the community. And this guy that donated it is a police officer from New Jersey that was there on 9/11 when the towers went down. He was in the buildings. And he was also there when the plane on the Hudson landed. He was the boat captain that was getting them off of the plane. Yeah, the guy got a crazy story. And then here he is, after he's retired from law enforcement up there, wanting to give back and to take care of other first responders and veterans. It's a fantastic community. After these immediate needs, Wings of Compassion is about taking care of veterans and first responders, bar none. And I may have mentioned this earlier, but we are helping the military transition from the military flying to civilian flying. It's not cheap, and the GI Bill doesn't cover those things, which is kind of crazy to think about. We have such a shortage of pilots as it is. And the military pilots that come out, they might have 6,000 hours of flight time, but they can't go fly a little single engine airplane in the civilian world because the civilian and military stuff doesn't talk to each other. So they got to go through other training to get their civilian licenses. And that's where we can step in and fill the gap between what their GI Bill stuff will cover versus what it doesn't cover. And we have the opportunity to maybe even provide the airplane and the trainer and everything. So that's one aspect of how we serve veterans and the first responders. The other is maybe they've got to get to a medical appointment somewhere, and they live out in the middle of nowhere, and it might take them 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 hours to get from where they're at to where they need to go. Well, in an airplane, that's like 1 hour.
Yep.
even in a smaller, slower airplane. So if we can help do that and give them some of their life back, that would be fantastic. And then on the third one is purely just for morale flights, getting them up in the air for more of a therapeutic type of situation where, yeah, being in the military, if anybody who's been in the military, there's a lot of times that it sucks. And you go through a lot of stuff. People in your command chain, people in your chain of command may make decisions that you just don't understand, but they're orders, and that is just the way it is. And it's just hard. And especially, my neighbors, the neighborhood we live in, is surrounded by military people. And my dad was military, 22 years in, and there were several times where we would go to the military base and wave at him. He'd get on a plane and disappear for a year, and then he'd come back, and then just like that, they're supposed to just magically go back into their routine, and it just doesn't happen that way. It's just crazy to think that they're supposed to be able to just turn it on, turn it off like that. So if we can help with aviation being more therapeutic, getting them up, getting them away from the world, literally and figuratively, and then that's just something that we love to do.
That is awesome. Is there a way people can contact you if they have questions or want more information about this? Do you have a website or a email address or anything that you can share that people can contact you for more information?
The best way to get in touch with me is through the campaign on GiveSendGo. There's a prayer button there. They can just hit that, type their message in, and I get all those. So I'd be able to reply back to them and get a hold of them, and they can communicate directly with me that way.
I just love what you're doing. I love the heart behind what you're doing, that you're just stepping in to the things you see and becoming an immediate resource. Even if it's not, the hurricane wasn't something that it's like, oh, well, this is a veteran thing. No, it is just something that you saw and said, we're going to use what we have to make a difference. So if anybody's watching this, GiveSendGo.com/wings of compassion. It's getting close to the end of the year. I know there are some business people that might be watching this, some companies that are saying we need to do some things for taxes this year. I'm guessing since you're a 501c3 that people who give are able to get that a receipt, and any receipt that comes from GiveSendGo for this campaign, because it is a 501c3, you can use on your taxes. And so, this would be a wonderful organization. Planes are expensive, fuel is expensive, groceries are expensive. They're dealing in the expensive here, but they're making a difference. And so please, Wings of Compassion, GiveSendGo.com/wings of compassion. Are there any last words you want to say to anybody who might be watching?
Yes, we also accept non-monetary donations, whether it's actual food, diapers, or those things. Contact me through that pray button. We'll figure out how to get that from you if you're in the Tampa, Central Florida area. Or if you just have bigger stuff, we got an RV donated. There's been racing horses donated, gold, silver, anything that we can either use or convert into money we can use, and you'll get the receipt for that. Because we're a 501c3, you'll get the value of that through either an appraisal or the actual sale receipt of that. So we will take all that stuff.
Okay. Once again, GiveSendGo.com/wings of compassion. Visit it, give to it, share it, pray for it, all of the above. Encourage the people who are stepping out. You might not be able to go down to Florida and step in, but here's a way that you can be part of the solution. So thank you, James. It was so nice meeting you. Thanks for joining us on today's Spotlight. We look forward to hearing and seeing new campaigns from you as you continue on your mission to change the world, little, one thing at a time. And that's really how it goes. So thank you again for joining me today.
Thank you, Heather. It's such a pleasure to be with you.